my name's Andres, and I apologize in advance. I wasn't able to provide a presentation or a PowerPoint because I wasn't sure. So my topic is going to be about clean water. So this planet is made up of over 7% of water, and less than 1% of that water is drinkable, which leads to 99.99 and so forth. We cannot drink; it's contaminated, which leaves that one of the 6 people in this whole planet have no access to this clean water, which is about 1 billion people worldwide. I bring up this fact because most of us assume that water is going to last for years for our kids, for our kids' children, and so forth. But in reality, the U.S. is about to face a water shortage, and we do not have the technology to turn seawater into clean, fresh water. And because of this, continents like Africa is already facing water shortages, and they have no access to clean water. As a human being, I know that all of you drink water, bathe in clean water, and so forth, and use water every day. But how many of you are aware of what is happening in Africa right now regarding clean water? But the fact that there's no difference between bottled water and tap water. We have a luxury in our hands with water. It's a resource that we overlook almost on a daily basis. I do take water for granted. I use it every day. I take baths for half an hour, half the time. I'm not even showering or anything. I'm just there chilling. I drink a bottle of water and I leave half of it filled and then just throw that away. I leave the water running while I brush my teeth. So weaker research has really opened my eyes and seen how water is very important to us. Clean water is a very key component in our daily lives to maintain a healthy, balanced diet. But what happens when we begin a water shortage in our country? Because Africa already has that, and soon enough, that might be us. So first, I'll be talking about the difference between tap water and bottled water, and also a little bit about the water shortages both in Africa and the U.S. And secondly, I will talk about the effects of drinking and bathing in contaminated water. So first, I'd like to share a very important fact. Over 260 chemicals are found in tap water. And of those 260, 141 of those chemicals are unregulated, which means there's no methods of removing them or any methods of saying they're safe or not. But the good news is that 90% of that water did pass safety standards measured by the EWG, which stands for the Environmental Working Group. So bottled water might seem like the safer choice, the more richer taste, the filtered water, the clean water. But in reality, this bottled water contains 25 to 30% of tap water, which is not filtered. And most water companies don't even filter the water. They just put the faucet and package it. So bottled waters might contain bacteria and parasites like Giardia, which causes infection in the intestines. So while we continue to consume water every day, each day for our personal reasons, the fact is that clean water is soon it was not going to last a lifetime. So when we talk about water shortages, we think about Africa, the Middle East, and how the desert and how they lack water. But in reality, by the year 2013, 36 states in the U.S. are about to lack water. And according to Cynthia Gordy, who writes for The Root, claims that California is already lacking water, and we're soon going to be in the water. We're going to have water shortages across California because of the droughts we're having due to the hot weather and so forth. So let's begin. So now that we talked a little bit about the clean water and so forth, water shortages are soon to happen. I would like to talk a little bit about the infections that's caused because of this, that we drink contaminated water or bathing it. So according to the Water Project, which is a nonprofit organization, they claim that about half of the hospital's beds are filled with people in there that have water illnesses. And in developing countries, over 80% of these people are linked to poor sanitation and poor water conditions. Children are weaker and can't cope with not having clean water. So 1 in 5 children from the age of 5 each year die for not having any access to clean water. So if we bathe in waters, if we drink these waters from lakes, oceans, rivers, and so forth, it causes, we basically swim in bacteria, and each lake, each river has over 1 million different kinds of bacteria. And we make fun of people for having diarrhea and so forth, right? Because we have to run to the restroom and so forth. But in reality, this diarrhea, it's actually a disease in Africa, causes at least 1.8 million people to die each year because you get dehydrated and so forth. And 90% of those cases are actually children. So in conclusion, I would like to say that we do take clean water for granted. We consume it at a outrageous pace and so forth. And I talked a little bit about the difference between bottled water, tap water, the water shortages. So before I finish, I would like to say a couple of facts. In the U.S., each individual uses about 500 liters a day in bathing, cooking, and so forth. It is recommended that we only use 50 liters to cook, bathe, and etc. It takes 1,000 liters to produce a pound of coffee. It takes 300 liters to make one set of newspapers. It takes 100 liters for the dishwasher, 8 liters to flush a toilet. So I see it as my job to change that and decrease the water that I use every day. Thank you.